Hello and welcome to DCG's development update. We are here with the core platform and the mobile teams to give you an update of the past 2 weeks. We will have a dedicated Q&A session, so please feel free to ask questions in the live chat below. Please use a Q or question prefix so we will know it is intended to the Q&A. All right, without further ado, let's start with the platform team. Let me start my sharing button. Sam, would you kick us off? Can you see my
Yes,
screen?
sure. Yep.
Wonderful.
So the focus was Dash Evo tool improvements and SDK mobile work. And so like Dash Evo tool, Paul and Lukas worked on that. Tender Dash Lukas worked on that. I worked a little bit on iOS stuff. And I also worked on some of the thing that will be very interesting for a lot of people, I believe. So let us just get into it. That's some of the thing will happen probably at the 15-minute mark. So people holding in their joy. Well, you have to get through 15 minutes first. Um, so how are things going on Evo 2.0? Let's quickly talk about that. The activation is going to be in about 5 days, 4 or 5 days, 13th of July. We had a chain stall. I'm going to talk about that in a second. It was fixed as soon as enough nodes switched to 2.0. It was a it was like a version 1 bug that was solved in 2.0 already. And yeah, I'll explain about that right afterwards. Right now, there are 298 Evo nodes on 2.0, which is phenomenal. That is amazing. Um, that's great. It's just great news. I mean, I could not have imagined it would be that much at this point. So everything's going really well there. Well, other than the chain stall, but we actually, when we had the chain stall, we were at around 60, like 4% upgraded. And if we had just been at 67% or maybe 63% upgraded, if we had just been at 67%, we would not even had a chain stall. We were just a little bit unlucky. And this happened just randomly. Um, yeah, it's an issue that like I was checking, like probably happens every many months, maybe. And we just got really unlucky that it happened at that time, exactly at the period between. Well, let's go to the next slide and I'll explain exactly what this chainsaw was. So everything is versioned in platform, or almost everything. And we had an issue where transaction outputs larger than 43 dash would fail if they were being used to create a platform identity. And why 43 dash? That's actually the biggest amount that you can store in a 32 bit integer. For balances, we actually use 64-bit integers, but there was an issue in one of our libraries that was encoding things as 32 bits instead of 64 bits. So they would basically just crash if it was over 43 dash. Um, that fix wasn't properly versioned. So an output came in that was too big. Some of the network that was on 2.0 said, yeah, let's include it. Some on 1.8 said, nah, let's not. And basically, there was a divergence with 64% going one way and 30, and I can't do math, the rest going the other way. And there was a chain stall. And as soon as we had people upgrade to 2.0, they just started to agree. And that was that. Um, just to explain why we didn't have a chainsaw before, well, when on the previous versions, they would just not work. So if you had an output larger than 43 dash, your funds were just stuck. So there were times, maybe in the past, where some people were like, where did my funds go? I created an identity, but it didn't work. Probably either the out you sent more than 43 dash to platform, or you were using a transaction that had a change address of over 43 dash. So if you like took 100 dash block and you said like 2 dash to platform, and of that 100 dash block, 98 came back to you, for example, as change, that would also have had a problem, and it would not have been and that asset lock would not have been able to be used on platform. So you might just not have seen your money and thought, it's gone, I lost it. But nowadays, actually, those old transactions can still be used. So you can use them to top up your already existing identity if you wish. Yeah, that's it for the chain stall. Let's never talk about this one again. Let's move on. Lukasz?
Yeah, hi. So we had a few topics in terms of Tender Rush last sprint. So first one is platform downgrade and fork, which was, I think, finalized during the call 2 weeks ago, but just for like follow up, we found one issue, which is consensus params hash, which basically verifies that the whole network uses the same parameters, and it's not taking into account all the fields. And we see it as an issue, and it's breaking for the block protocol. So if we fix that, it will change how the block hash is calculated. So it needs to be updated basically with care, and we need to figure out how to do it correctly and in which version. But the fix is there, it's in progress. It's the Tendermint has the same logic as we, but basically I believe this is not correct. We want to have we want to calculate the hash of consensus params and verify all the consensus params. And Tendermint just does that for a few selected parameters to allow the network to tune them without changing the hash. And second thing is Dashmate update that we'll include in 2.1 to just fix these consensus params on testnet that were an issue we detected during the fork. And also there is additional flag added to the tender dash command line to be able to go one block, to remove last block from the block store. When we need, it's only used, it can be only executed manually with some recovery procedure, so not a big deal, but it's there. We will be able to use it if needed. On top of that, we had some updates to Tender Dash, like dependency updates, 4 minor ones and 1 bigger, where we changed the SS. So one of the cryptographic libraries from V1 to V2, what was it was including breaking changes, so it's already updated. And we will release 1.50 dev3 soon to see how all that stuff together works and to deploy it on testnet. It should be non-breaking change, so it should work with, I think, even with 1.4 without any issues. And also, I did a small fix for a bug in platform. It's just minor improvement, I would call it, in error handling. So that's pretty much it when it comes to this slide. I also did some work for Dash Evo tool, so finalized few open tickets that I already discussed 2 weeks ago, like repainting UI and fixed loading of identities. So these were minors. I also did some research in terms of automated UI testing. There's a kit test library, but it's not so trivial as I thought it would be. The idea was that just to teach some AI, either ChatGPT or Claude, to implement tests for us. But and UI testing, in terms of UI testing. So this kit test works as like emulating running application, and then you can find some items on the screen and check if they work. Like find the button, click on that button, stuff like that. But each object needs some label that you can use in the test. And in current state, we don't have such labels, so it will be much more time consuming to get it to a point where it will be useful than we expected. So not sure if we go forward that road, or we will just close this PR. And last thing I'm working on right now is just a effort to decouple the whole wallet logic in terms of managing keys, in terms of communicating with core from Dash Evo tool into a separate crate. So the idea is to have a separate small module for key management, where the private keys are processed, and we need to do it with care and be sure the keys are secure there. On top of that, we need to integrate some SPV client for core that Paul is working on right now, and other parts of this whole puzzle. And the idea is to put it all into a separate crate that is decoupled from the Dash Evo tool and decoupled from the Dash platform as much as possible. And basically that people can just use this as a wallet in their implementations. A wallet that will contain both Dash Core and Dash Platform wallets all together, more like cherry picking features from various parts of the product, or the whole product, like Dash Core and Dash Platform and all that stuff, and putting into some organized structure. That's the vision here. It's in progress right now, and it will take quite much time to get to a release status. And I think that's it on my side. Paul?
Thank you, Lukasz. Could you go to the next slide? Balash? Thank you. Yeah, hello guys. So I've been working on getting SPV to work in Dash Evo tool the past entire sprint. Last review, I showed a really basic version kind of SPV in Dash Evo tool. I demoed how you can do queries and state transition without being connected to Dash Core. And that was basically without syncing the chain at all. It's not really taking advantage of an actual SPV. How that was working was we were just asking a node for what the current quorum hash was, and then using that to prove that the state transition worked and stuff. So it's not totally secure. But at the same time, you don't have to sync the full chain to do that. So I guess we could potentially provide that as an option if you don't want to spend the short time to sync the chain. You can do stuff that way. But basically, since then, I've been getting the actual chain sync to work using the Dash SPV library that Pasta and Sam worked on largely with Claude. So there were a lot of things that we still had to do there. And basically, I have been uncovering these to-dos and trying to just make everything work. And so far, we've gotten the chain to sync from Genesis. Basically, all the headers is working consistently and working well now. That took me a long time to get done, and the chain sync with so basically right now most nodes on mainnet don't have compact headers. So I think with compact headers it should make it a lot faster, but without them the chain sync from Genesis takes about 30 minutes. So if you want to use the SPV client, I think without compact headers, it'll take about 30 minutes to sync the first time you use the SPV. And then from there, you'll have the chain saved and you can reload, and it just should take a few seconds to get up to date. Yeah, so that's also working. Like if you close Dash Evo tool and reopen it, you'll load the headers from, we have it saved, and you just have to catch up on a few blocks.
Paul, actually, no. First thing, Pasta did most of that work. He deserves all the credit. Well, and AI, but not me. And the second thing is when you start the sync, you can start with a checkpoint, right? That's very close, so you don't need to sync for the whole thing. But you did not see checkpoints because I think Pasta just wrote that in this week.
Okay, great.
So it can probably sync in like a few minutes.
Yeah, I was gonna say 30 minutes is definitely much longer than anything I've seen. So it should be a lot quicker than that, and especially with checkpoints, it should take 10 to 30 seconds probably to a minute. So we should be able to work on that and get that improved significantly.
Yeah.
Cool. And what I'm saying about the compact headers, is that accurate? Like most nodes are not supporting compact headers at the
No,
moment?
so there are two things. There's compact headers and then there are compact filters. Right now, Dash SPV doesn't support compact headers. There are some bugs in that, and so it's disabled. But so using regular headers, it still syncs pretty quickly. Compact headers would be a bit quicker, but I would expect like maybe a 10 to 20% improvement, not so significant. But you might be seeing stuff related to compact filters, but that is related to if you need to get like the balances of addresses, like if you're interested in transactions and that kind of stuff. Without using Bloom filters, you want to use compact filters. So most nodes on mainnet right now do not support compact filters, but everyone supports compact headers, but Dash SPV does not use compact headers right now.
And in the next core version, we'll make it mandatory, right?
Yeah, it'll be on by default.
Yay!
Cool. Okay. Yeah, so besides that, I added like UI components to switch between SPV and Dash Core, and like a network monitor, which is basically like are you fully synced, and if you're syncing, what's the sync status, and so now I'm just trying to get queries and state transitions working with the SPV connection, and there's unimplemented stuff in Dash SPV, it seems, and I'm just trying to get that to work. I've made some fixes there, and I feel like I'm very close, but I've felt like I was very close for the past 2 days or so. So, yeah, that's the status. Should be, I do feel like probably by end of week it should be working. Yeah, and then these fixes are basically the fixes that I made in Dash SPV. We were missing block locator implementation. So after you synced, if you reload the Dash Evo tool, it makes sure that you don't have to resync the whole chain. You just load from the latest state. Fork detection fix. Basically, every time we were loading like the state the headers that we already synced, it would think that we were starting a new fork when we were just extending the main chain, and some like bug fixes around that as well, around forks and reorg handling.
Are these
Excellent.
in
That's awesome.
PR81?
Is that PR81?
Yeah.
I have an open draft PR.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is that. Okay. Sounds good.
Cool. Thank you.
It is time. Let me put on my video. When SDK. Next slide. Well, almost. I'm not gonna bore anybody. No, go back. I'm not gonna bore anybody with like what I did there. I'm just gonna show it. So get ready, guys. I hope everybody's sitting down. Let me share my screen. Well, let me actually create a new window. And let me share my screen. Where is it? There we go. Can everybody see my screen?
Yeah.
Yep. Well, here we have a new web page, evosdk.dash.org, using the WASM SDK, the WASM JavaScript SDK. This is written in JavaScript. And I am going to demo today all the transactions working and and about like 80% of queries. So without further ado, let us go right in. Let's do a query. An identity query. Get identity, the first one. Just take this identity, execute query, and voila! You have the results of that you want your identity. Let us check an identity balance. Let's use actually the same identity. What's its balance? Oh, look, its balance is 285 dash. It's my identity on testnet. And yes, we can go on and on and on with many different things here. And let's go to system and utility. I don't know. There's just so many different queries. The system has 47 different queries, right? So I haven't slept in a long time getting everything working. Get total credits on platform. Let's do this one. This one's pretty easy. On testnet, by the way, 167,000 dash on testnet. Right now, by the way, why did I give an asterisk, right? Not every single query is working. We have about 80% of queries working, and mainnet is currently not working. I've been getting everything to work on testnet. I'll get everything to work on mainnet in the next 5 days before the 2.0 release. Basically, this mainnet will work when 2.0 works, because this is actually using a lot of 2.0 functionality, and it hasn't activated on mainnet yet. And there's other things, small, but anyways, let's go in and make some state transitions. Let's do it, guys. What state transition do we want? Let's create a transfer, and let's do an identity credit transfer. Let's see, an identity ID. Okay, which identity ID am I going to use? Well, I'll use the same one that I was using. And let's put in. So by the way, right now, we are using private key for the SDK. You can use a private key in the SDK to make it work. But the way that in the like the vision of how this SDK will work is that you won't actually ever put in the private keys here. You'll basically, it will connect to Bluetooth to your phone. And when you do an operation, like on a website, you'll just get a buzz on your phone, accept the operation, you'll say yes, basically. Because your phone will have your keys, your wallet, everything inside of it, and it will basically be hooked up to anything you're browsing. Like that, it's very secure, and you don't share keys onto a computer. Now, just so people understand, this is a client-side only web page. So this is running on the client side. There is no backend server. Well, there is a backend server here. It's just serving the page, right? It's serving the SDK and the page, but there is no back and forth to that server. It just gives you the index.html and the SDK, and then that's it. So let's send this to somebody. Okay, is this an identity here? And people, you guys can follow on Platform Explorer as I'm doing this. You'll see the transactions coming in. Let's say we're going to send it. I probably should put this in dash instead of credits because it's really hard to. Seems like a good amount of credits. Ooh, what? Oh, here's an error because I put in the wrong private key. I was very worried there for a second, but I actually did. I put in a normal, I didn't put in a transfer key, and it gave me an error as it should have. So let's put in transfer key and let's send. And it was sent. Ta-da! What else do we have? We can do a withdrawal. Yeah, why not? Let's make a withdrawal. This has the transfer key. Let's send it to an address. Receive. Let me create a new receiving address. Copy address. Let's some more high amounts of credits. Probably that amount. Does that amount fine? Core fee per byte optional. Execute. And we just made a credit withdrawal. Woohoo! You can use, I mean, once this hits, you can use it to do your withdrawals if you want, guys. You can put in your ID here as the ProTX hash, and you can put in your the withdrawal key. I wouldn't do that. I would still use DET just because like this is probably not like, I mean, I don't like putting private keys in here. This is really just an example to show that the JavaScript SDK is completely working, is fast. And by the way, this is using the proof system. This is using the proof system. It's getting back a GroveDB proof. I mean, there's no like cutting any corners. And it just works. So let's go to, I don't know, data contract transition. Why not? Let's register a data contract. So here we need a new key. We need an actual authentication key, not a transfer key. So we put in the key here. So like, what do we want to do on this contract? Can be deleted, read only, keeps history. I mean, you can basically select these things. Identity encryption key bounds, and there are these are the various things that you put into a contract, and then you put in the document schema. I didn't prepare a document schema. Let's not do this one. It's a little complicated because we'd have to actually put in a document schema here. I mean, I know it's working. I did it like really recently. But I'd have to ask an AI to make a document schema for me really quickly, or I'd have to like, I mean, this is actually a valid document schema here, but I guess give me 1 second, guys. I want people to see it working, you know? Let's just go on Platform Explorer. Let me find a schema of a recent contract that it was created, and then I'll just use that. So Let me get a contract. Where did we make a data contract? There we go. Here we go. We're gonna use this here. So we basically put in a note. A note has up to 100 characters. It's required. The property message is required, and that's about it. We can put a keyword, like test. We can put a description. Yeah, this is an amazing description. And I think that's all we need to do to register it. Let's try to register it. I'm not 100% sure that I didn't forget something, but let's press execute. There we go. The contract is now is there. We could have put a token on there if we wanted to. I guess this is still like a slightly complicated interface, but we can also do a data contract update. So let's just try this contract ID. And you go to update here. And then you put in the data contract ID and you put the additional document schemas that you want to add. You want to like maybe add a token or add a group, you can add that and you press execute. I'm not going to do that because if we do every single one, it's going to take some time to show everything off. So some of them that require some stuff in there, I might skip.
Hey, Sam,
so
are you able to
yeah.
see this document or contract on Platform Explorer now, or would it take time to show up there?
No, it's there. Go to Platform Explorer. And then like it takes about like 30 seconds for Platform Explorer to update, I found. But it's gonna appear right there. So we have a data contract create that was just happened in Platform Explorer. You see it, Pasta?
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah,
I figured
exactly.
that would show that it's really real. You're not faking.
It's real. I mean, this is working, guys. There's no like mock data. It's all real. It's all there. It's all working. It's not like, and it's all working properly. The WASM SDK was also built in such a way that you basically tell the WASM SDK what features you want inside of it. So right now it's using every feature available. And I also built it without optimization. Every feature available is about 6 megabytes. If you only use like 2 or 3 features, it can get down to like 1.5 megabytes, right? Like if you're only using document create, or maybe like you're only doing a few things in your DApp, it gets way down. So let's continue. So document create. Let's create a document. So we just registered this contract. Let's make a document on it. Why not? So contract ID. What was it? It was like a note, right? So you basically come here, you fetch the schema first, and it basically is the message. So I think we could just put a message down like, wow, so cool. I hope is everybody thinking. And then you press execute. And come on. There we go. It was created. And the document exists now in there on testnet. Everything is working. You can update the document. So let's take the document ID here. Document replace. So data contract. I'm actually quite happy that it stays on the right side. So document type was note, and document ID here. And then we can press load document. Come on, hurry up. Oh, there we go. And then, so it was wow, so cool. And I'm going to change it to wow, so cool. This is neat. How do you spell neat? Like that, I guess. Okay. And like this one we can update because this when we made the data contract, we set the documents as being updatable. So it can update. Not all documents can be updated, but now it's updated. See, and the revision is 2. What else do we have? We can delete it. Let's delete it. Why not? Document ID. Poor document. It hadn't done anything bad to anybody, and yet it's gonna be gone soon. I'll take 5 dash to save this document. Anybody paying up? Nope. Okay, it's dead. Oh, what? Oh no. Oh no. The rare thing that can happen. Basically, the quorums last for an hour. And if you just hit the wrong time, you have to reload the page. This is like one of those small things. I've never actually run into this, but I'm just gonna quickly relaunch the page, like, you know, and then let's continue where we left off, because basically the quorums had changed, and that happens once an hour. And then there's a 1 in 24 chance that there would be a problem. And of course, that's basically one time a day that there could be a problem. And yet it just happened. It's pretty impressive, actually. It's just goes to show that whatever can go wrong will go wrong. Let's see what that document that I just made actually is. Okay, so the document was here. Oh, we did a document replace, and it was on this. Where is it? Oh, document identifier, found it. Okay, so it's here. And document type was note, I think. And data contract was this. Okay, and we wanted to delete it. There we go. Sorry about the little hiccup. Yeah, you can also do transfer, purchase, and set price. So this is for NFTs, right? I'll demo that next week, just because will have like an actual maybe something to show around NFTs. So let's just continue with token transitions. Why not? Can do token burn, token on mint. So if your token allows for this, right, you can put a data contract ID, token contract position, amount to mint. I don't know if anybody wants me to do any of these. And I guess, I mean, yeah, I can do a token mint quickly for just to show it working. I think that some people are going to say it won't work. So, what tokens do we have here? I think we have this one, Flurgon. Yes, Flurgon. Where is it? Where is it? Here it is. Found it. And let's take token composition. I want to mint 5,000 Flurgons. Why not? That's wrong. It shouldn't actually show a key ID there. It should figure it out automatically, but I know that it's one issue to identity ID. I mean, I just issued to myself. Why not? Oh, I guess if you don't put anything, it will issue it to yourself. Let's run that one. I hope yeah, there it works. Oh, it didn't give you back any results here. So some issues, I guess, still happen, but probably let's see if a token mint just happened. 21 seconds ago, some stage transition happened. What was it? I'm gonna guess it was this token mint because I don't think Platform Explorer has any details on it. It doesn't say what happened, so it was probably the token mint. Okay, I think that's it for tokens. I mean, these are the various ones that can happen, but like destroy frozen funds, that's only if the token allows for that, right? Most things, wait, where's my claim? Oops. I think we're missing a token transition, guys. I don't see the token claim. Okay, see, another thing missing, but let's just move on to voting transitions, right? So like if you wanted to vote for a DPNS username, we can do that too. Post in your contested username, the one that's being contested right now, the vote choice, who you want to give it to. Yeah, so it all works. I'm not going to show everything. It works. If anybody wants me to show it, I can do it at the end when they're during the questions. You can also just log into evosdk.dash.org, go on testnet and start playing around with it. It's public. There's nothing to hide here. Have fun, guys. A lot of these queries, there are going to be some issues. Let's do a document query, for example. So get document, data contract ID. Let's do the data contract that we just published. What was it? Data contract that we just published was, let me check the Platform Explorer. And I think it was Note, right? Oh, and we want to get one with a specific document ID, right? So we can just do that. Where? Oh, you can't click on documents. Okay, where's the document ID? Oh, there it is, found it. Oh, we deleted it. I forgot. Yeah, so we deleted this document, so that obviously does not exist. Yeah, but it work. I mean, it would work if let's just get all the documents of a different contract. I don't know what any of these contracts are, but they exist. I think let me try to find a contract in oh, here's a contract that I was playing around with earlier. Here. Document type. I think we had something around like post, I think. So here we can load the contract. Yeah, and then you can select an index that you want to query by. So in this case, I guess like owner and time. And then oh, this doesn't work anymore. It was working at some point. So basically here you would say like where like, oh, it can also be like where owner ID is equal to something, where created at is over something. So yeah, so some things are not perfect yet. I guess I have to fix them. They are working in the WASM SDK though. It's probably not a JS like WASM JS SDK. It's probably not a JS SDK issue. It's probably just a like a viewing issue. So you can generally like sort these and select an index, and then query this. This was actually the first thing that I got working. the Git documents, and then things have changed a lot over the last week. So yeah, you would basically like get the where conditions, do the order by, and then execute query. I don't know what would happen if I executed it right now. I guess it won't work. No, it did. Who knows?
All
I guess, yeah. I mean, it just got the documents. So first post, a post. This is another post. This is a post from the JS SDK, another post, a post, but yeah, WASM SDK. Okay, see,
Great.
you can query documents generally with the indexes, with the secondary indexes is a lot better because then you can say like, get me those that happened since yesterday, or get me stuff that like, has a certain well, in this case, just, I mean, was made by this person, stuff like that, right? Do I have anything else to show you guys? I'm gonna say
I think
everything
we
else that I
are
did.
running. Hey,
Yeah.
I think we are
Yeah.
running out of time.
Sorry, I'm very excited.
And
I just want to give
we
a
will have a
quick,
lot of questions as well.
yeah, I want to give
Maybe
a
we
quick
can get-
explanation of like how things are going to work here. What I still need to do, I need to. We're currently in QA here, so we're gonna go through every single query, figure out the ones that work, figure out the ones that still have issues. It's live, so people, you guys can also let me know. But our QA is working on it. I decided to make it live even, in advance, just so people can play with it and have fun. And yeah, what will we do? We'll make sure that it works for mainnet. And I'm going to try to get everything working by the 2.0 release date. So all the queries working. And I guess add the token claim state transition that we missed. And that's about it. And in 2 weeks, I have another, we'll have some really cool demos. This actually, I worked on this while making demos. Again, we don't have time to show everything, and the demos are not really there yet. So we're gonna just stay with this for now, and in 2 weeks, I think a lot of people will be also pretty happy. Oh, and like when SDK, when can this be packaged in such a way that people can use it? Well, in my opinion, you can use it now, but you'd have to be a pretty advanced user. I would hold off at least till we get the first release pretty much in 5 days or so. We're going to make a little WASM SDK release, and then people can start to, but that will be pretty much a beta, right? And then it will be fully released in 2.1 in, in the upcoming month. So but I mean, I've used it to make dApps already. And I think people can as well. It's just not going to be completely polished yet. Okay, cool.
All right.
Let's move on.
Let's move on. We have a few more slides.
All right. So now
we still have this Rust dash core work.
Yeah, I'm gonna handle that.
All
So
right.
now that Sam wrapped up, what, did that take 30 minutes or 45 minutes? But that was really cool. I'm glad that you're wrapping that up and getting that done. That's been a lot of work, and it's cool to see the results from it. So on the kind of Rust Dash core and subsequently like the iOS side of things, the major accomplishment most recently was implementing secure aggregation and legacy BLS serialization in the Rust-based BLS library. So historically, Dash core uses a BLS library written in C++. It's a good library. We forked it from Chia originally, and we've maintained it and added additional stuff there, but it's kind of a pain in the butt to compile in native Rust stuff sometimes. Compiling C++ can be annoying, and build system stuff is frustrating at times. And we ran into that with some of the iOS work in this last 2 weeks, where we were enabling basically proper quorum validation for validating chain locks, and the that triggered building the C++ BLS build system, and that had issues building for iOS. And so I basically had two options: either spend a bunch of time debugging and figuring out why it didn't want to build for iOS, or just implement the features that we need in the Rust library that will build easily for iOS. So we decided to implement these changes in the Rust BLS library, which is BLSful. So we've implemented secure aggregation now and the legacy VLS serialization. These are the two main things that were needed for proper quorum validation, that those BLS operations for quorum operations. And so now that has all been integrated into Rust-Core, and Rust-Core no longer uses any of the C++ implementation of BLS, and it all uses the Rust implementation in BLSful. So that's really cool, and that has fixed our building issues for iOS, and so we are now unblocked from moving forward with that iOS development. The other thing that I worked on was checkpoints in -spv. So now we can, set checkpoints and then just sync from those checkpoints. So that improves sync speed significantly. Sadly, I don't have a super interesting demo this week. I figured I don't want to, I don't want to take the attention away from Sam, so I'll save it for next time. But we are going to be making some good progress on iOS now that building for it with chain lock support and everything like that is unblocked thanks to these BLS changes. So we have to merge in the legacy BLS serialization. So as long as Sam isn't lazy, we should be able to get that done today. I need him to review it, but and then we should also be able to merge in those changes into Rust-Core and keep moving forward there. So that's pretty much there's more stuff that was done with Rust-Core. There's some beginning of like Bloom filter support and different stuff like that. But nothing that I really want to talk about too much yet. So we can move on to the next slide, and we'll start talking about core stuff. So the main thing that is really interesting here is the extended addresses progress. So PR6665 has been improved or has been merged. So that's been wrapped up. There were some issues with it that we had to figure out. There were some things that we found in review that we wanted to fix. So it took a little bit longer than we originally planned, but it's now been merged. And we're moving on to the next PR in that series. So 6666, 6, was that 4, 3? I don't know. I would have just skipped that PR, open it as an issue, and then immediately close it. But anyhow, hopefully that one doesn't have to stay open for too long. But so we're moving on to that one. That one should get dealt with in this next 2 weeks. And pretty much once we get extended addresses wrapped up, we should be good for basically releasing v23 at this point. I've been distracted, so I haven't been fixing the PR6690 for voting via the Qt governance tab. That will be included in the next major version, and I will get it wrapped up by then. There are a couple of compile issues that I need to fix, some linking issues that it worked on my machine, but in CI it's failing, and I just haven't spent the time to figure it out yet. I've been distracted and focusing on other stuff, but I intend to get that wrapped up today, and hopefully we can get that merged in soon. Otherwise, we can move on to the next slide here. We can take a look at the progress of backports. So we're up around 75% now, complete total, and v24 is making some solid progress. If we take a look at the next slide, we can see that we can see the PRs merge in the last 2 weeks. So we did have a thread safety fix for some missing mutex in some BLS code, as well as a number of backports merged in. Build backports miscellaneous like refactoring and uh, resolving some circular dependency backports, some improvements in tests. So these are, the kind of things that aren't always super interesting, but are important for kind of keeping up to date and moving forward and improving the code base. So nothing super duper interesting to talk about here, but valuable improvements nonetheless. And with that, I think we can move on to mobile.
All right. Thank you, Pasta. So on the Android side, the link system that we're using for invitations via Firebase is getting retired. So we had to find a replacement for that. So although we finished all the development on Android, this is an event happening in August that we have to prepare for. So before we go live with anything, we want to make sure we're on the new system. So that's taking place. And then saving historical metadata, the backend story that's still in progress, actually, as of the current sprint. We just finished it, which is great. A lot of work on DashBend, both on the CTX side, for a couple of small bugs and improvements there. We have a database with all of our merchant location data that was kind of remaining stale for a while we had our beta going. So we've scheduled those data loads so we get updates on a regular basis from CTX. And then on the Piggy card side, that's what the PC stands for. So all of this is kind of branded around Dash Spend. There's CTX partner, Piggy cards partner. We started on the UI work for Piggy cards. They predominantly offer fixed denominated cards, so like 10, 20, $50, denominations. They do have some exact amounts and they have different discounts to CTX. So there's a few different kind of reasons why you might choose, one over the other if they support the same merchants. So just basic UI work for logging in and terms and conditions. And then on iOS, the largely Dash Spend based. We're currently waiting for Dash Pay to be made available to us from Pasta and Sam. So we're just refocusing on features until that happens. But same work for Piggy cards, just UI work for basic stuff on the login and terms and conditions. For CTX, we finished the remaining work that's needed to get that feature out, and we did. That rollout completed. Version 8.4 has Dash Spend available now. So yeah, go get it. Give us some feedback. Let us know how it works for you. That pretty much covers mobile. I don't know, Sam or Pasta, if you have any more additional details you want to share on Dash Pay.
Yeah, so I'm continuing to work towards that. We were kind of blocked by the BLS changes. So in order to properly build for iOS, we had to implement those BLS changes. So those BLS changes are wrapped up now, and Sam is also kind of wrapping up some of his SDK stuff. So we'll both be working a bit more on the iOS app specifically, and hopefully we'll have some very interesting updates next week or in 2 weeks.
Well, not really for me.
Dang it, I was hoping I could rope you in.
No, I mean soon. But like basically for the next 2 weeks, I'm still going to be on the JavaScript side. But this will give you time to finish like all the platform functionality. And then after that, we're taking a very, let's say, from scratch approach to fixing all the problems that we have. But from scratch it sounds bad, but it really isn't bad because we're going to make something super modern that will last for another 10 years, right? The current one that I actually wrote, the original iOS back in, well, when I say back end, it's like low level code, like synchronization code, all of that. And I wrote it back in 2015, 2016, 2017. 2017 and 2018. I don't know if I said 1 year twice, but that was a big part, and even 2019, big part of my life that I spent working on this thing. But it's old. It's written in a very let's say like it's written not for the next decade. So we need to update the way that things work, and we're doing that right now. And so like when people ask when iOS, I don't want to give a date, but it's not going to be many months from now. It's going to be a month, 2 months, something like that from now. So because even when we have like all the functionality written in the SDK, we're still going to have to do a very complicated process of dealing with the key. Like there are things that exist in the old system that need to be ported over like one-to-one. So things just like very seamlessly translate and users don't lose any funds, right? So we have to like really, really make sure that everything is, airtight and working perfectly. On the new version, as soon as we hit it, like people are going to be like, wow, this syncs really fast. And wow, there's no, there were a lot of, let's say, a lot of reported issues. There won't be any anymore. And we'll have all the functionality that we want. We'll have all the token functionality inside the libraries that we're using. So it will be a lot, will be a lot faster to do things, let's say. And I'm really looking forward to that system that we're putting in place. It's very highly AI focused as well. And I think we're going to be able to achieve a lot of productivity that way.
All right, let's move on to the questions. Question for core team. What is the status of the fix for the core crash last week?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I did have something in the slides, but I kind of glossed over it there. There was a bug in old code that it was actually quite surprising. Normally, when we see this, it was something written in the last, couple of years. But there's a bug in old, actually, I think it was Codeblock written code, which is very rare to see a bug that he wrote. But a bug that with a specifically kind of malformed uh, transaction. You could hit an assert and you could crash. So we've actually merged in the PR to fix this now and to develop. And 22.1.3 will be released in the very near future, and will resolve that issue, and will want everyone to kind of upgrade to it. So I'll probably have more details that I'll be willing to share in 2 weeks. But for now, we'll be releasing 22.1.3 in the near future, and we'll want everyone to upgrade to it, and that resolves the issue.
All right, thank you. Is the SDK and this app on GitHub yet?
I answered that one.
You already answered yet. Yes.
It is. It is. It's just in a branch. I was trying to get it merged in by today, but it's never good to rush these things. We really have to review that code quite heavily. And, there's still fixes that I probably want to get in there before it's merged in. But yeah, it's already close to 10,000 lines. I'd like to take credit for that, but it's largely been written with the help of AI. Obviously, like the AI couldn't figure it out by itself, and it was often going down the wrong path. But since I know the project like the back of my hand, I knew exactly how to guide it. And so, that in combination can really make me go like times 100 in speed. It's insane. You can basically like have multiple AI agents and terminals, and when doing multiple things at the same time, and you basically just review them in real time, they tell you what they're doing, and I'm like, no, you're making an error here. Go back, do it this way. It's like having a whole team. You're just orchestrating, and it goes really, really fast. It's very cool.
So,
It's a very
yeah.
different paradigm of development this year than last year than the year before.
Speaking of AI, what can Claude Vibe coders do to help Dash? What kinds of things would be most helpful to work on? Which things should they not do? Question mark.
Ooh, so that's wow, you're going out of
I'll-
order, but yeah. This is fine.
I'm going reverse order.
Oh, I thought there was another. Okay, well, yeah, sure. Well, you know, the SDK was written with Claude Code in mind. There is a page explaining to Claude Code how to use it. In fact, it's probably much easier to use Claude Code to make a DApp right now than to do it yourself. And you can do it right now. I mean, sorry. I'm just dying over here.
It's okay. We have your soul in Claude Code already, so it's okay.
Excellent. Yes, I've been backed up. So yeah, I mean, I would say like for right now, just hold off a few more days unless you really want to get into it. But in a few days, you can just use the SDK and build whatever you want. We're going to show some demos in 2 weeks. Basically, we're making some dApps right now. Yeah, and we're gonna showcase those dApps. I gave out too much information. I wanted it to be another like cool moment, but yeah, we're gonna be playing around with stuff, and
All right.
and that's
Thank you.
gonna show some of our functionality and what we can do that nobody else can do as well.
Cool. Next question. Can conjoin be efficiently implemented on mobile without separate derivation paths, like how core does it? Or otherwise, can core be made to be compatible with all the Dash-made derivation paths?
Yeah. I think the right solution here would be to enable core to look at these derivation paths for these coin join funds. I think right, so if you think about it, core existed before HD and CoinJoin existed before core had HD. And so CoinJoin was not necessarily implemented with HD in mind. The right way to do it is the way that mobile is doing it, where they have dedicated paths for these special features, especially as they use a lot of addresses. It just helps you kind of keep track of things, and it's a cleaner solution. The right way to do this would be to improve core's detection and allow core to detect these special paths. So I don't remember if they're documented in a DIP, but I'll need to talk to, was it Andre that worked on some of that stuff, or I need to figure out some of that stuff of like what those paths
It's
are.
Hash.
But okay, so I could reach out to Hash, and we should be able to add that to the scope of V23 to um, uh, allow core to find these paths.
Okay. I think this one was at least partially answered as well. Will there be an easy one-stop SDK/guide/etc. for integrating DashPay into wallets? DPNS DashPay, wallet utils, custom derivation paths, or will these be integrated separately by third parties? I'm thinking of this
yes.
for a one-stop way to get partners to integrate instant send, usernames, coin join, etc., without having to
Well,
sell them each feature.
As far as I know, like nobody really has this anywhere because what you're asking for is like support everything, and everybody has their own custom solution. What we are probably going to do is we're probably going to support because we're going to have iOS and Android in our system, right? We'll probably also have a React Native SDK, which is something that's used a lot in mobile development. So basically, it will, like I think many wallets use that, and then they can basically just use that SDK to integrate their apps with their apps and get a lot of extra features. The thing is that it's not extremely simple, right? Because a lot of these it really depends on like how their custom solution works, right? Are they using a centralized system where everything goes through? If that's the case, it's actually the centralized system that has to be looking out for the instant sends. Otherwise, our SDK will make a lot more connections, and maybe they don't want a lot of connections to the dash directly to the Dash network all the time to be looking for instant send. It's not super simple when you're dealing with thousands of custom solutions that are all working differently. So we're going to make some we'll have an SDK in JavaScript, we'll have an SDK in C, in Rust, in Swift, in Kotlin. I'm also going to be, this is going to be I'm actually also at the same time, and I actually already started writing it. I tasked like a few agents to go write it, a Python SDK, so we can hook up directly platform to any Python AI scripts, right? Because that's actually going to be really the future. You're going to have like all these dedicated AI servers, and having a Python SDK can make that sometimes a little bit easier. I mean, the AI can make an easy bridge to Rust, but it's a little faster if it's directly in Python. There's a lot of stuff in the future. In fact, the PR is already there for Python. I made an SDK for Python. I made an SDK for Go. Why? Because we made the C SDK already for a platform, right? And the C and writing it on Go after the C and writing it on Python after C is trivial for an AI. So, a lot of like we have to understand, and people listening to me need to understand that AI can do some things that seem very hard very easily, and then there are some things that might seem easy that it just can't do. It has real struggles on things that require a lot of knowledge, a lot of context. So, for example, writing platform code, it actually really struggles with, because you need to know how GrowthDB works. You need to know how the secondary indexes work of platform. There's like a very, very big amount of knowledge, and it can't actually get all that knowledge inside its context window. And that's what's limiting it right now. Right now, within 2 years, I think this problem will be gone, right? Maybe even a year. Who knows? It moves so fast. But right now, it can't really do the hard things in platform code. However, it can do SDKs very easily. Well, not very easily. I had to guide it a lot, right? But it can do it, right? We were able to make this whole thing happen in like a relatively short amount of time with my guidance and it writing a lot of the code. So yeah. it's
All right.
it's a brave new world. We'll see what happens. And I believe that, we're actually going to move towards, we're going to remove technical barriers more and more. And we're going to move towards a system of ideas, right? So people have an idea for some app, right? They just want it working. And I think we have something here with Dash Platform, because we can just take that idea that you have and make it into a decentralized app. All the complexity is just done by the AI, most of the time. Poor dApp developers. But it will mostly be a question of AI is writing the software. And then what then becomes complicated? Well, you normally have to deal with infrastructure. I mean, people would normally have to pay like $20 a month to host their website or to host whatever they're doing. But with platform, you don't. There's no server that you have to run. If you're doing Ethereum, you have to run a server. If you're doing other blockchains, you have to run a server. You can't query your information right away. So, it's going to be, I mean, by the way, just so people understand, I'm not saying that we are going to support like decentralized websites right away. That's something that we might be able to support later on, but right now it's really focusing on web services, right? So you might have like a client app and then like, this web service in the background, or even like, you just serve a static page, like, I just did for the demo, and then everything else is just hooked up to platform. So you don't have like very massive costs. Yeah. So,
Hey,
I mean,
see.
mhm.
Yeah, please finish.
Okay, let's go to the next question. Otherwise, I'm just going to ramble forever.
Next and last couple of questions. I'm chasing the digital cash network. I'm chasing down grant funding for Dash, first for privacy. If we can get extra money, can it help explore privacy on the Evo chain, like confidential token balances / amounts? Question mark. Follow-up question. If I can get a Cosmos ecosystem grant funding and dev help, would it help accelerate IBC?
These are very complicated questions in our day and age because it can either slow things down or it can help. There are people that will come in, right? Will work extremely well with our project and will accelerate things. There are also people that will come in, ask a lot of questions to me on like how the system works and other things, and it will actually slow things down because I'll be spending time explaining to people and like managing people instead of basically doing things myself, or do like not just myself, but with our team and with people that really know the system extremely well. I definitely think it's worth going like looking into, right? But we only need the best, right? We can't half-ass people. We need like really, really strong people that come in that are well-versed. And because any junior developer or any, even people that say they're senior, right? It basically needs to be like, okay, they come in 2 weeks, we're happy. Yes, we're not happy after 2 weeks, they're gone. We can't, we've gotten into bad habits where we don't let people go very quickly, but we have to basically no longer go down that path. If people are not like really good right at the beginning or like pretty close to the beginning, I just, it's just not worth it.
Okay. So I guess, yeah, applies for both questions. Thank you.
Yeah, and for for Evo chain confidential token balances amounts, that's really not easy, actually. Why is it not easy? Because we actually have the sum tree verification, right? And the sum tree verification means that, we have to verify that all the sum of all token balances is equal to what it's supposed to be equal to. So there's never any inflationary bug, either in tokens or in credits. When you're hiding balances, while it might be technically possible to do a like some type of aggregator that knows that the sum of multiple token balances is equal to 0 minus, I mean, basically a certain amount, and then that amount minus the other amount is equal to 0. So you basically create a zero knowledge proof. While it's possible that you can maybe integrate that into a tree, or I've never heard of it being done. So yeah. We'd have to basically it might be incompatible with the secondary indexes that we have. Maybe, but maybe not. It just requires a lot of research of stuff that has not yet been researched that much. In my opinion, let's get everything done that we can do. And in 2 years, AI is going to rule the world. So, it will be able to solve this problem as it cures cancer.
All right. I see no further questions. So thanks for being here. Thanks for the comments, the questions. It was long and eventful demo. So thanks for being here and see you in 2 weeks.